Hey, it's Hugh Ballou again. On this session, my guest is Captain Kim Haug. I'm at the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department, and I met Kim the other day, and I was quite impressed with the work she's done outside of her regular job, demonstrating how leaders can make a difference. Let's start with talking about what is your job title here?
I am a captain, but my job title is Chief Correctional Officer of the Montgomery County Jail.
And that's your work, but we're going to talk about what you've done outside of your work. Do you have a title or description of that program that we're going to talk about?
The program that we have started is called EFFORT, and it stands for Enabling Friends for Our Response Teams.
Enabling Friends for Our Response Teams. Clever. And so what was the situation that came up that was the inspiration to start this?
We have a lady who works for the sheriff's office, and she has a son who's autistic, and she requested that we do something for the special needs community. Didn't really give us a whole lot other than that. She just wanted us to do something with the special needs community, and so that started some thoughts going and some programs. We started thinking of some things, and we got together with a lot of people in the community and came up with the EFFORT program.
Wow. So she came and talked to you about it. What was the problem that we were addressing?
She had a couple bad experiences with her son. He's a teenager, and they live in a town. And so there had been a couple incidents with law enforcement that were pretty scary for her. At one point, her son was not responding to a command, not because he didn't understand, but because he was afraid. And he had something in his hand that was like a comfort item, and the command was to put it down, and he refused to do it. So the situation started to escalate pretty quickly, and she was just really concerned that maybe in the future, as he got older, that that situation could have gone really bad. And so she just wanted us to do something for the special needs community, including individuals with intellectual disabilities, because she just saw the need.
We read about things when they go bad with law enforcement, and we want to balance it out with things that we do to prevent those situations.
Correct.
This is really important. So, what was next? How did you start this initiative?
Well, I first approached the sheriff with just an idea of having a fun day with the sheriff's department, and then quickly realized that I was out of my element with the special needs community, that I needed some help and some guidance, and I didn't want to do anything wrong. I knew that I would have one chance at this. You mess this up, and that could be really bad. And so I invited a lot of people from the special needs community, from the schools, from Special Olympics, from DARS and IDA, and some other agencies in our area that work with special needs, along with law enforcement and first responders. And we had a big brainstorming session. I told them some ideas, what I would like to do, and they were really excited about it. And so we went forward with it, but always with the guidance of the people in the special needs community already, to make sure that we did everything that was, that was going to be helpful and right, and that we wouldn't make do anything silly that would make the situation worse.
Our audience are people who are leaders in various types of organizations, like those that you reached out to. What is DARS and ICA? IDA. What are those?
DARS is the Department of Aging and Rehabilitative Services, and what they do is they work with a lot of individuals with special needs on assisting them in getting employment. Okay. IDA is Individuals with Disabilities Association, and they do a lot of really neat programs for individuals with disabilities. Special Olympics, everyone knows what that is. So we invited those people to come and sort of guide us along.
One of the themes that we highlight in our work is that leaders are first and foremost people of influence. And you didn't have any official relationship that you could say, do this. You just influenced them because of your clarity of vision for this. So speak to that. They voluntarily stepped up, is what I'm hearing.
They did. When we met, I shared with them what I wanted to do. that I wanted to, in the purpose of what I wanted to do. I wanted to bridge that gap. I wanted to reach out to the special needs community, because as I started the research into this is when I found out that there wasn't a lot of trust between the individuals and the families of individuals with special needs and law enforcement because of those bad experiences. And are just afraid that we wouldn't know how to handle. And I'm not talking about just law enforcement, I'm talking about from fire and rescue as well.
Yeah.
Those can be really scary situations for anyone, but you throw in the special needs aspect, even a parent getting pulled over for a parking ticket could be traumatic for somebody with autism. When you pull up behind that car and you've got the lights and the siren, or a car accident, a fire in their home, then we bring in an element that's unfamiliar and scary. And so what I wanted to do was, on this day, make sure that there were fire trucks and ambulances and police cars and officers in uniform, and everybody was in uniform. The firemen were in uniform, the rescue people were in what they wear, law enforcement was in uniform. So they got to interact with us on a fun level, and they got to learn about the jobs that we do. They did the obstacle course that the law enforcement officers do when we go to the academy. They got to use the fire hose.
Wow.
So it was just incredible what the fire department did. They got to get on the back of an ambulance and see it. So they got to be a part of it. We had photo with the cop where they got their picture taken. They got to take the picture home with them when they left the site, and they got certificates and they got medals and awards for doing all the obstacle courses. So what I wanted to do is, like I said, bridge that gap and show them that we're not scary, that we're not there to make a situation worse. We're there to make it better.
Now, this is just an activity. Where is it housed? Under the sheriff's department? Is it connected to any official entity?
It's a program that the sheriff's office does. It's something that we do in partnership with all first responders in the county.
Okay, and it's your baby?
It's my baby.
It's your baby. So how long is this? We're talking in 2017, early in the year. How long has it been going?
Last year was our pilot program. It was our first program. We did it in July of last year, and we start meeting next week to start planning this year's effort event.
And what will you do to create sustainability and enable transitions as you bring on more programs and you need other leaders to take other parts? What will you do to ensure that sustainability with the transitions of bringing, I guess people aren't going to do it forever, so how do you bring on fresh people and have a rotation system?
One of the things that we do throughout the year is we do training a lot for the new officers that come in and the new people. But one of the things that we will definitely do is just, we'll always leave it open it's open to volunteers, everybody to, that can come, and to continue to go into the fire departments and the rescue departments and the other agencies and to provide training, just ongoing training about the need that we have in our community that we need to be better trained to handle individuals with disabilities, and we want those families to to trust us on that level. So what we will definitely be doing is the continuing training, I think, is going to be the key part of keeping this going.
Good. I see you going over and above the training because you have created and built on relationships.
Yeah. Well, the other organizations that we have developed a relationship with has been phenomenal, and I've actually been really surprised at how I'm not really sure the word that I'm looking for, just how important those connections with the DARS agency and the IDA and Special Olympics, we partner with them in some things, but it's been kind of small. But the partnership with them has been really huge, and we've used them for training purposes. They've used us, for the training purposes on their side. Mm-hmm. But the partnership that we've had, that the sheriff's office has with these agencies now, has been phenomenal. And I see that continuing to grow as well. That we will, different programs that we have throughout, as things change, then because we already now have that established partnership, we'll make some transitions easier for programs in the future.
Good. One of the strong leadership principles I'm seeing is that you don't have to be the expert in everything. You're the visionary, and you brought in people with particular expertise.
Yes.
To fill in those gaps. Sometimes we
It was
feel
the
like
smartest thing that I've ever that I've learned to do is like if you want to do something, you find the people who are really good at it and you partner with them.
that's a key statement right there.
Mm-hmm.
That and leaders are really catalysts for some of the things to happen. Where you were what I'm hearing is you were very clear on what the need was and what we can do about it, but you let other people play into the content and the methodologies and the process piece.
Oh yes.
With expertise. So part of what I wanted to highlight in this interview is we sometimes get in a vacuum in our charities, our churches, and our organizations thinking, whether it's government or other, we think that we've got to do it all. And so the key message I want to highlight here is this is a collaborative community effort.
Correct.
Collaboration really enables us all to do a whole lot more. What are some of the results that you've seen so far?
Well, we extended, I guess, the program to a degree by doing a GTO program. It's called Growth Through Opportunity, which was really positive for the sheriff's office and also for 3 individuals. We, through the DARS relationship, we had 3 cadets come through a program at the sheriff's office called Growth Through Opportunity, where we took in 3 cadets, all 3 with intellectual disabilities, and we spent 4 months with them where they came and learned job skills, social skills by job coaches. The job coaches were the deputies, and they would spend several hours a day with us Monday through Thursday, and they graduated the program, and the whole purpose of that is to get them job ready. So we went to different agencies throughout the county, the other police agencies and the fire departments, and they would have work for them to do. And under the supervision of the job coach, they did jobs. And so these 3 individuals are now, they're actually out there interviewing for jobs now. So they'll be, they learned everything from eye contact to shaking hands to how to fill out applications to just interacting with strangers and, how to talk to business leaders when they go into the county. And so that was a pretty neat program. And so that's a huge thing that's come out of the effort program. And like I said, and the training that we've done. But I've also seen the positive impact of on the deputies that work here and the experiences that they've had with individuals in the community when they've had to go on calls and they've encountered someone with autism or another disability, and their confidence in being able to handle that better and knowing how I've been trained on how to interact with somebody who's autistic, and they just feel comfortable in doing that.
Wow, it's something most of us don't even think about. And I'm thinking about, as you're talking about the skills about eye contact and all of that. We could all use that. But that's giving people a leg up who might not have been taught that.
Correct. Or it's more difficult for them due to their disability. They have, it's just harder for them to reach out and shake someone's hand. They may know that they're supposed to, but it's just the reminder that they have to do this or they should be doing this. And
that's huge. That's really huge. I especially, we want to reach out and do something for other people. And what you said also is there was a change internally with people who were working with these people. So have you had any stories from any of your officers about?
I do. I had one deputy who called me after an interaction. The call was a teenager that was sort of out of control. And, you really never know when you're going on those calls what you're going to encounter. Is it, are they just acting up or are they really out of control? When he got there and found out that the young lady was autistic, he remembered his training. And like I said, he just you feel more confident knowing that you can handle the situation the way it should be handled. He left the situation. It was positive for the mother, it was positive for the daughter, and it was positive for the deputy. And they have an ongoing relationship. He knows, we now know that if we're called to this house, that this young lady has autism, And we know some of her triggers. We know some of the things that we can say and do that will help calm her down. And it's just a positive all the way around. There's, the flip side of it is, we're better trained to handle these situations, and they see us, the parents see us as somebody who's coming to help and not make a situation worse.
What is your vision for the future? How do you see this going into the future? You see it growing? You see it impacting different segments? What do you see it impacting more people without growing? What do you see?
I definitely see it growing and impacting more people, and I would love for this to grow into other counties. I would love to see other counties, either come here for the training or open up their departments for the training, for the GTO program, or for something similar to effort. I did have a lady from South Carolina call me, and just pretty much, how did you do this? Because I want to do it in South Carolina, for our department. So that was very, very encouraging, and that's what I would like to see continued. That all departments realize that there's a whole segment of our community that we don't normally deal with unless it's an accident or something like that. It's not necessarily a criminal side of it, but it's a whole segment of our community that really desires to have a relationship with us, and that we need to have that trust. They need to be able to trust us that we're going to handle that situation well.
And there's just sort of a natural barrier, law enforcement and citizen. We get on the street and you see a police car, you slow down. Yeah. So we're like always thinking about ourselves. What am I doing wrong? So we're in a different mindset. And what I'm hearing you saying is you're bridging some of those gaps.
Because fighting crime is a huge part of what law enforcement does. Yeah. We do enforce the laws of the land. The speed limit, and we do have to interact with that. But it's not all that we do. We're here to serve the community, and with Sheriff Pardon's vision for where he wants to take this department, it is definitely in that direction. Is being there for the community, and it's not just we do have that one part of what we do, but it's a part of what we do. It's not all of what we do. We serve the community, and there was a need in our community to connect with the special needs individuals, and we're trying to bridge that gap and fulfill that need.
So a person in your organization brought that need to you, to your attention, and you paid attention. Mm-hmm. Why you? Why did you say, I want to do this? What was inside you that was the voice that said, Kim, do this?
Well, she came to me a few times. She was pretty persistent. Uh-huh. And then, and then I started to think about it. And the sheriff was, we had a meeting at the beginning of the year. It was with the sheriff, and he laid out his vision for the sheriff's office. And it was definitely community driven. And so that was, on the forefront of my mind, that we're going in a different direction. And but she came to me a few times, and and I know her son on a personal level. I've met him, mm-hmm. And I guess it just struck a chord that we do need to do this, and why not me?
You don't know this, but I talk about leadership, and I summarize it in three things. Leaders get things done. Mm-hmm. Leaders figure out how things get done. That's the elusive part. Leaders influence others. And I see all those traits. I mean, you just didn't say, oh, here's an idea. You took action. So if there are people out there that are hearing this story, what advice would you give people if they've got an idea? What's the leadership piece that you would encourage people to embrace to move on the idea?
And it's really hard to say, because I just feel like this is just part of who I am. But if there is a need, look for ways to address it. And I've come across some things where I've handed them off. And this, it's like there is a need here. You sort of look for ways that you can address it. And sometimes there are things that I can move forward with, and sometimes I see somebody else who's better equipped to move forward with it, and you hand it off. but you still want to follow through and make sure that need gets met. But just it doesn't take much. I mean, you get people around you who are experts and say, hey, this is a need, this is how I see we can fix it, and then start getting some advice and some experts around you and a good team, and you just get it done.
A good team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is inspirational, and thank you for spending time to share the story and your humility in getting out of the way and letting it happen. You brought people together around the vision, and you've been a catalyst for things to happen. And I'm sure you've been a cheerleader when things didn't quite go together at some point. We are in the sheriff's department. We hear lots of sirens. That's validation of where we
downtown,
are.
Yeah.
So any other things you want to share before we end this story?
I thank you for the opportunity to share it. If I can promote effort, I'm going to promote it any place that I can, because I really think this is going to change lives. We got a lot of feedback we got no negative feedback from the event, which was huge, because this was a pilot event, and we stepped into uncharted territory for a law enforcement agency, that we had never done before, and we got no negative comment. And the only thing that I've gotten comments from other organizations and some just individuals saying that they really want to be a part of it the next time we do it. And I've already had people calling me saying, when are we going to start again?
So the event happens once a year?
Mm-hmm.
What time of year?
After school. We did it in July this year. I think this year we're looking at the end of June.
Okay. And what happens between events? I mean, I'm sure there's some ramp-up time to the event, but does anything happen now, for instance?
Well, we're going to start meeting and start planning the next event, start looking for donations from, everything was donated for the effort event pretty much. We had food donated. We had a hot dog vendor, ice cream, drinks, everything was donated. So we'll start doing, making the rounds and start getting all those things lined up. But we're really not going to change a lot. It was great last year. Other than changing maybe the layout of where people were. We had this at Christiansburg High School. Very few changes will be made. So between now and June, we'll start getting our flyer ready, start making our contacts, start getting the word out. And then after June in the fall, we'll look at doing the GTO program again.
Love it. It's a great story. I'm going to do a postscript for this and talk about leadership in general.
Okay.
So let's move in another direction. I'll use this for some other things. We're broadcasting this on YouTube, so it'll be inspiring some other departments to want to call you, and so you'll be teaching this to some others. You also are active in the community. You spoke to me about a leadership cohort or whatever that you get together. Can you say a little bit about that?
We do. It's called the Leadership Workshops is called Project 14. It started at the beginning of last year. Myself and Lieutenant Louis Heslip started a leadership workshop. Where we met once a month. We just had a 2-hour workshop. We invited individuals from the community, clergy, and other agencies, of course, to come, and we would put together a 2-hour workshop. Louis passed away in May, and now his wife is on board. We've changed the name to Project 14 because Louis' unit number was 14. So we've changed the name to Project 14, but once a month, typically the last Thursday of the month, for 2 hours, we have a leadership project. We have a leadership workshop, and we invite speakers in, and it can be someone from one of the departments. There's a group of us. There's Lieutenant Andy Wilburn from Radford PD, Officer Heath Hyatt from Christiansburg PD, and Brian Rowe from Blacksburg PD. And we have some of the chiefs and Chief Wilson and Captain Ramsey from Christiansburg PD. Other people have come on board, and we get together once a month. We decide what our topic's going to be. One of us will either do the project or we'll bring in an outside speaker. And we just do a leadership project once a month, and that's been great collaboration with different departments, and us working together in a kind of in a different way. So,
What have you learned there that helps you in your job and helps you in your volunteer work with this project you talked about?
One of the great things about the leadership project is that the different topics that come in. And it's like we've covered everything from from the Brendan Burchard. I don't know if you're familiar with him. We do some of his stuff, and just preparing for some of the events has been pretty challenging. Just getting all the departments and getting law enforcement to want to attend something like that. But we've the collaboration has been pretty impressive with the different departments working together, and sort of nobody's really in charge. It's here at the sheriff's office. It's kind of sponsored by the sheriff's office, but it's really a collaborative effort. And again, it's that teamwork thing. It's just getting people around you who know how to get things done, and or have experts where have expertise where you don't, and then working together and putting on a good project.
Kim Haug, Captain, thank you for your service to the community and the impact that you make.
Thank you.
Thank you.